Hello and welcome. We are on page number 17 of chapter 1 of the ICAI material GST for intermediate course. In the preceding class, we have examined an illustration with regard to intrastate supply. In this class, we will understand an illustration with regard to interstate supply. We all know that GST is levied on supply. Of course, sale is also a form of supply. Now, in this illustration, X of state 1 supplied goods to A of state 1 for 10,000 rupees. So, let us understand the facts of the illustration. There is one Mr. X of Andhra Pradesh supplied goods to A of Andhra Pradesh for rupees 10,000. For rupees 10,000. So, X of Andhra Pradesh supplied goods to A of Andhra Pradesh for 10,000. The rate of GST is 18%. Thereafter, what happened? A of Andhra Pradesh sold goods to B of Telangana. A of Andhra Pradesh supplied goods to B of Telangana for 12,000 rupees. Thereafter, what happened? B of Telangana supplied goods to C of Telangana. B of Telangana supplied goods to C of Telangana for how much? He has supplied the goods for 14,400. For 14,400. Now we have to understand each and every aspect of this chain and also the implication of tax. Now, what has happened? What is the price, supply price? We will take the first instance. X of Andhra Pradesh sold or supplied goods to A of Andhra Pradesh for 10,000. So what is the selling price? Selling price is 10,000. This is an intrastate sale. Intrastate sale means both the supplier as well as the receiver of the goods, both of them are situated in Andhra Pradesh. So GST being a dual taxation, in this intrastate supply, the Andhra Pradesh government as well as the central government will levy tax. The rate of GST here we are assuming is 18%. So CGST will be 9%. CGST will be 9% and SGST will be 9%. CGST will be 9% and SGST will be 9%. So what is 9% of 10,000? It is 900. What is 9% of 10,000? It is 900. So the invoice price is 11,800. 11,800. This is the first point of sale in the chain, and X is not having input tax credit, so he will pay to the central government. Central government will be paid 900 rupees, and the state government, Andhra Pradesh government will be paid 900 rupees. So both central government got 900 and Andhra Pradesh government got 900 in this first leg of transaction. Thereafter, what has happened is A of Andhra Pradesh supplied goods to B of Telangana for 12,000. So what is bought by A has been sold to B of Telangana. Now we will deal with that situation. We will deal with that situation. We will go to the second part of the chain. Now A of Andhra Pradesh, what is the supply price? The sales price is 12,000. The sales price is 12,000. Now the A of Andhra Pradesh sold goods to B of Telangana. So B of Telangana, so the supplier is in one state and the receiver of the goods is in another state. So what will happen is here IGST will come into play. How much will be the tax rate for IGST? IGST will be the sum total of CGST and SGST. So the IGST will be 18%. So A will charge IGST at the rate of 18%. A will charge IGST at the rate of 18%. At the rate of 18%. So what is the IGST amount? IGST amount is 12,000 into 18% is equal to this into 18%, 0.18. It will be 2,160. So what is the invoice price? Invoice price is 14,160. 14,160 is the invoice price. Now come to the tax payable part. What is IGST payable? IGST payable is 2,160. However, this person A at the time of purchase from X, he has paid 900 as CGST and 900 as SGST. Now this tax of IGST, the entire amount of 2,160 need not be paid by A. A can claim input tax credit. A can claim input tax credit of CGST paid by him of 900 and SGST paid by him of 900. So how much is the balance amount that he will pay to the government? The balance amount what he will pay to the government is only 2,160 minus, sorry, this is equal to 2,160 minus CGST input credit minus SGST input credit. So he will pay to the government only 360 rupees. He will pay to the government only 360 rupees. Now let us come here. So central government, Andhra Pradesh government and Telangana government. Telangana government. Here Telangana government did not receive anything. So Telangana government in the preceding point did not receive anything. Now what has happened? Now here the IGST payable is 2,160. Now what is the amount of balance IGST paid by this person? Now this person has paid 360 rupees as IGST. So again the central government will get 360 rupees as IGST. However, what you have to examine is this. We understood that GST is a destination based taxation. GST is a destination based taxation. Now, the tax will be received by that government where the goods have been consumed. Though A has purchased the goods from X of Andhra Pradesh, but what A has done is A has sold the goods purchased in Andhra Pradesh to Telangana. So, though the AP government here has collected 900 rupees, this can't be retained by it. What will happen is the SGST amount utilized to pay the IGST amount will be transferred to the central government, and the central government will transfer it to the consuming state. So here 900 the AP government has to transfer to the central government, and the central government will transfer the amount to the Telangana government. Now the goods have reached Telangana. So what you have to understand is previously, before the GST regime, in the CST regime, what used to happen is the exporting state used to retain the sales tax collected on interstate sale. But now under the GST regime, wherein the tax is a destination based taxation, what will happen is the tax will reach the consuming state. Here the exporting state is Andhra Pradesh and the consuming state is Telangana. So how this mechanism works, or how the tax amount will be transferred to the consuming state? It will be transferred with this formula, that is, what is the amount of IGST paid by taking input credit of SGST. Here IGST 900 rupees is paid by taking the input credit of 900 rupees. So what Andhra Pradesh government has to do is it has to transfer 900 rupees to the central government. It has to transfer 900 rupees to the central government. So we'll do one thing, this amount will not directly reach here, but what we will do is the government, the Andhra Pradesh government has transferred the money to the central government first. So central government received the money. How did central government receive the money? SGST utilized for the payment of IGST has been transferred by Andhra Pradesh government to the central government. So central government has received the money of 900 from Andhra Pradesh. Okay. So this is how this transaction of A to B has been done. Now what happened? Now what happened is this B of Telangana supplied goods to C of Telangana for 14,400. Now we have to deal with this transaction. We have to deal with this transaction. Now, when A of Andhra Pradesh supplied goods to B of Telangana, this A has the input of CGST and SGST of 900 each. Now, when B of Telangana supplied goods to C of Telangana, what is the supply price or sales price? Friends, I will be using the term supply and sales interchangeably. Sales is also a form of supply. GST is leviable on supply. But at places of illustrations, what I may say is, I may substitute the word sale instead of supply. Please understand that sale is also a form of supply. Now, B of Telangana supplied goods to C of Telangana, he sold. So what is the sale price? The sale price is 14,400. Now B is located in Telangana, C is also located in Telangana. So this is an intrastate sale. Now for intrastate sale, the tax leviable is CGST and SGST. Now here, if we are referring to SGST, it implies it is Telangana SGST. Now, what is the CGST and SGST referred to when the goods were supplied by X to A of Andhra Pradesh? Here, CGST is central government GST, but here the SGST is Andhra Pradesh SGST. But when the goods have reached Telangana, while B is supplying to C of Telangana, here the CGST is normally the central government CGST. So what is that amount? The supply price into 9 percentage into 9 percentage. It is 1296. Next, what is SGST? Here SGST means Telangana SGST. It is also 12%. So what will be the invoice price? What will be the invoice price? Invoice price, invoice price is the sum total of all these amounts. It will be 16,992. Now we will come to tax calculation. We will come to tax calculation. Mind you, B has an IGST input of 2160. Since B procured goods from A of Andhra Pradesh at the time of payment of 14,160, it comprises of 2,160 met towards IGST. That IGST which has been paid at the preceding point is now available as set off. Now what will happen is, what is the tax payable here? CGST and SGST. How much is the amount? 1296 and 1296. Now this fellow has an IGST input of rupees 2160. 2160 input he has. Now how the IGST is to be set off? First IGST is to be set off against IGST. Thereafter you can meet the CGST. Thereafter you can meet the SGST in this order. So first IGST 2160 rupees input credit available will be set off against IGST. Thereafter balance can be set off against CGST. Thereafter the balance can be set off against SGST. Now in this case, B has an output tax of CGST and SGST, but he has no output tax liability of IGST. So IGST is ruled out. Now 2160 IGST can be first met for payment of CGST. So we will reduce here. 1296 will be reduced. Next, what will happen? Now here the central government will not get any money because there was a set off. Now what will happen? What is the balance amount remaining? Balance amount remaining is 2160 minus, what is 2160 minus 1296. So 864 rupees of IGST is remaining. Now this 864 rupees will be set off from SGST payable. Now you understand here, what will happen is, the amount of IGST utilized to set off SGST, that amount central government has to transfer it to Telangana state. So now examine here. What you have to examine is, how much amount is utilized of IGST is utilized to set off the SGST of Telangana state. it is 864. So central government has to transfer 864 to whom? Telangana government. 864. 864 Telangana government will get. How this mechanism worked? Previously, how this destination based taxation works, the central government has developed a mechanism wherein the SGST utilized to pay IGST, Andhra Pradesh government transferred 900 to central government. Now, what is the amount of IGST utilized to set off Telangana SGST? 864. Central government will transfer it to the state of Telangana. Thus, the tax component was received by the state where goods are consumed. Pre-GST regime, the tax would have gone to the state of where exporting took place. Exporting took place in the state of Andhra Pradesh. So tax of CST of 2% used to go to Andhra Pradesh. Now, this being a destination taxation GST, it has been received by the state which has consumed the goods. Now, what is the balance amount of SGST payable? What is the balance amount of balance SGST payable? Balance SGST payable. What is the amount? That is equal to 1296 minus the amount which was set off. Now 432. 432 rupees is to be paid to whom? Telangana government. 432 rupees is to be paid to Telangana government. 432 rupees is to be paid to Telangana government. Now what has happened? Now what is the sum total of this? 1296. What is the sum total of this? 1296. Now what is the sum total of this? 0. Now friends, understand carefully here. What is the price at which the goods are sold ultimately? The goods are sold ultimately for a price of 14,400. What is 18% of 14,400? It is 2,592. If you observe this 2,592, the central government and Telangana government have received it equally. The Telangana government and the central government has received it equally. Now Andhra Pradesh did not get any amount in this transaction because though X and A were situated in Andhra Pradesh, ultimately the good traveled to Telangana. B bought the goods in Telangana, B sold the goods to C of Telangana. So ultimately the goods were consumed in the state of Telangana. Thereby what has happened is the GST being a destination based taxation, the amount of tax went to the state of Telangana. Now friends, how this mechanism worked? The SGST utilized to make the payment of IGST has been transferred by Andhra Pradesh to the central government. Now, the IGST utilized for making the Telangana SGST payment, central government has transferred it to the Telangana government. So this is how the mechanism works, and the tax will reach the consuming state. Friends, this is the illustration with regard to the interstate supply of goods. So here in this example we can understand that the 1296 is received by central government and 1296 is received by the state government too. In our illustration, it was Telangana government. Now let us proceed further. What is GST common portal? Now, to understand this GST common portal, we will go into the pre-GST era, the tax regime which was in vogue prior to the introduction of GST. We already understood there were multiplicity of taxes levied by central government as well as state government. Central government used to levy excise duty, service tax. State governments used to levy this state level sales tax. Also, central government used to levy the central sales tax for interstate trade or commerce. However, it was collected by the exporting state. State governments had many other taxes like entry tax, advertisement tax, whatnot, entertainment tax, advertisement tax, entry tax. All these taxes were there. So there were number of acts, there were number of rules, there were number of administrators, there were number of formats. CST used to have a separate computerized IT environment. Excise duty used to have a separate computerized environment. This service tax used to be having a separate set of IT infrastructure, a separate set of forms, a separate set of formats, etc. Now, coming to the state level sales tax, each and every state used to have their own IT infrastructure, their own rules, their own regulations, their own acts, their own formats, and everything was different, and there are a whole lot of confusion and a whole lot of compliances were required to be made by the stakeholders. Now under GST, what has happened is most of the taxes have been, indirect taxes have been subsumed into GST, and a common GST portal was set up wherein a uniform structure, uniform formats, uniform IT infrastructure, a centralized IT infrastructure has been implemented, and thereby all these duplications, multiplicities have been brought into one single system. Also, in the preceding illustration, we understood that GST is a destination based taxation, and the central government has a very important role of collecting the tax from the exporting state and remitting it to the consuming state. In the preceding illustration, what we have understood is SGST utilized for the payment of IGST in Andhra Pradesh. The amount was transferred by Andhra Pradesh government to the central government of rupees 900. Now when the goods reached Telangana, when B has sold goods to C of Telangana, B of Telangana sold goods to C of Telangana, what has happened is for the payment of SGST of Telangana, the B has utilized IGST amount. So that portion of IGST utilized to pay SGST has been transferred by the central government to the Telangana government. Now this will be possible only when there is a single portal wherein all the transactions take place and are under the control of a common portal. Therefore, a common portal was necessary. Now, what is that common GST portal? It is www.gst.gov.in. We can just go to that portal just for your understanding of that portal. So it is nothing but www.gst.gov.in. This is the common portal which has been developed. Now, who has developed and who is managing this portal? This is managed by GSTN, meaning Goods and Service Tax Network. Now, what is this GSTN? GSTN is a company which was incorporated as Section 8 of the Companies Act 2013. Now, who has established this? This has been established or set up by the government. Now, this is a uniform interface for taxpayer, and also this is a common IT infrastructure which will be shared both by the central government as well as the respective state governments. Moving forward, the GST portal is accessible over the internet. Just we went to the internet, we went to the browser. What I have done, I have, of course, it was a bookmark. You can go for gst.gov.in. As simple as that. Now the GST portal is accessible on the internet like any other websites. But however, for the tax officials, this portal will be available on intranet, right? Now, this GST portal is a common and a single portal relating to all GST services. So, whatever GST service you want, you need to access this portal. And also, this portal can be accessed through the internet not only by the taxpayer, but also the taxpayer may sometimes appoint his or her a chartered accountant, a tax consultant, or a tax advocate. They also can access the GST portal over the internet. Let us say where the turnover exceeds a threshold limit, then the GST audit is necessary, and the GST audit report shall also be furnished through this GST common portal. Now, what is the significance of this common portal? Now, the significance of this common portal is that it links all the states, union territories, all the central authorities, all the taxpayers, all the banks, and each and every stakeholder is linked through this GST common portal. You want to make a payment of GST, you have to create the challan in the GST portal and make the payment. You want to pay the CGST, make the payment through this portal. You want to make the payment for UTGST, you have to pay through this portal only. You have to furnish the returns, go to the portal and furnish the returns. So all the stakeholders are linked through this common portal. Now, what are all the functions or tasks that will be done in this GST portal? You want to start a business, your turnover, you are expecting it to cross the threshold limit. You need to get the registration. For registering yourself, you have to go to the common portal. You want to furnish the returns, go to the common portal. Now the central government has to compute and settle the IGST. Then the common portal will be helpful. The matching of tax payments have to be done with the banks. What will happen is, if you want to make a payment of IGST or CGST or SGST or UTGST, you have to visit the common portal and you have to create the challan. Let us, for example, let's go to the portal. Let us go to the portal, GST portal. If I want to make a payment, what I can do is go to services, payments, create a challan. Create a challan. What you have to do is, you have to give the GSTN and click on proceed. You have to give the GSTN and click on proceed. Then the challan will be displayed. You have to populate the CGST or SGST or IGST, and you have to select the bank through which you want to make the payment. So the payment, for making payment, you will be directed to a bank. Now the money will be deducted. Suppose you have a bank account with the State Bank of India. Now for making the payment, you will create the challan in the common portal, but for getting the money, you will be directed to the your bank account. There you have to give your user ID and password of the bank account, and the money will be deducted from your State Bank of India account. But that money should reach the appropriate authority, be it central government or the respective state government. So when you have paid through the State Bank of India, there will be mechanism in the GSTN to match the amount of money receivable from State Bank of India. Whether it has been received from State Bank of India or not, those matching will be done. If central government wants to have any reporting with regard to the GSTs, they will generate these MIS reports from this GSTN common portal. These reports may be accessed either by the state government as well as the central government with regard to the information of the taxpayer, to analyze the profiles of the taxpayers. There is also a requirement of generation of e-way bill for movement of goods if the value of the goods that are moving from one place to another place exceeds a threshold limit. So the e-way bill is also to be generated electronically. However, we should understand that this e-way bill system is not integrated into the GST common portal. Means the e-way bill system or the e-way bill cannot be generated in the GST common portal. For this, we have a separate portal at www.ewaybillgst.gov.in. This is a separate portal. This is a separate portal, right? We'll do one thing. I don't think I have the net connection right now. So what is the page in which we are? Maybe around 20, what is this? 19, 20, here we are. So what we have to understand is the e-way bills can't be generated in the common portal, but it has to be generated in a separate portal. That is, what is this portal? This is the portal. We will try to log into this portal. I don't think we can copy this. So ewaybillgst.gov.in, ewaybillgst.gov.in, e-waybill system. This is a separate portal. So e-waybill has to be generated in a separate portal, but it can't be generated in the GST common portal. Maybe my net connection is dancing. Yes, we got it. So this is the e-waybill system. Here also you will find this logo: one nation, one tax, one market, GST. That you have to understand. This is managed by National Informatics Center, Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, the Government of India. Now, what is the purpose of with this e-waybill? This is an electronic document which is generated on that e-waybill portal, and that will evidence the movement of goods from one place to another place. So whenever the goods are moving from one place to another place, if the value of the goods exceeds a threshold limit, sorry, then the movement should be evidenced by a document, and that document is waybill, and now that waybill is to be generated electronically in this e-waybill gst.govin portal, and that being generated digitally will be nomenclated as e-waybill. Now moving forward, GSPs and ASPs. So what are these GSPs and ASPs? Now this goods and service tax network has selected some IT and ITES and financial technologies companies, because now everything is made online. So applications need to be developed, be it information technology applications or information technology enabled services applications or financial technology companies. So let us say I want to furnish my GST return. I have to do it electronically in the GST common portal. Now, to do it electronically, right, once my return is prepared, I can log in into the GST common portal and furnish the return. But how to prepare my return? The return will be in a particular format. I have to prepare it digitally. I have to create that file which will be uploaded onto the GST portal. So for the preparation of these forms or these returns, everything, you need certain softwares. So using that software, I will prepare my return. I will generate the file which is to be uploaded, and then I will upload into the common portal after logging into my account. So the crux of the matter is we need certain applications. Now those applications, the GSTN has selected some IT, ITES and financial companies. Now they will be called as GST Suvidha providers. Now what these GST Suvidha providers or GSPs will do, they will develop applications. Now these applications will be used by the taxpayer to interact with the portal. You want to file a return. Now the software developed by this GSP, he will take it. Of course they are available for download. If you go to this GST portal, in the GST portal there is called downloads. Now in the downloads you have offline tools. Now return offline tool. Here if you want to file GSTR1, there is a tool. If you want to file any other return, there will be separate tools. If you want to file the ITC01, you will have a offline tool. So these tools will be developed by the GST Suvidha providers. Now we are also going to get the concept of e-invoicing. So these e-invoicing utilities will also be developed by these GST Suvidha providers. Now there will also be called as application service providers. Now these application service providers will be a link between the GST Suvidha providers and the taxpayers. What these ASPs will do is they will customize the utility based on the requirements and the needs of the taxpayers. Suppose there is a manufacturer, he want to file a return. So for him a particular model has to be developed. Now this will be developed by the application service providers. So application service providers will act as a link between the GST Suvidha providers and the taxpayers. The next concept is with relating to compensation cess. So what is this compensation cess? This compensation cess is levied at certain specified rates, and the authority to levy this has been derived by the central government from Goods and Service Tax Compensation to States Cess Act 2017. This is the central government subject. Now, so on what amount this cess will be levied? This cess will be levied on some luxury items as well as sin goods or demerit goods. Means those which are harmful to the health of the people, like these pan masalas, tobacco products like cigarettes, etc. Now, this cess will be levied on these luxury items or these sin goods or demerit goods. It will be collected, and what they will do, this money will be utilized for compensating the states for the losses they will be suffering, if any, on account of introduction of GST. Now, you have to understand a concept here. Sir, how can the state incur losses because of implementation of GST? In our previous discussions, what we have understood is for implementation of GST, the constitutional amendment was necessary. Now, the constitutional amendment, after passing in the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, what this constitution bill requires is it has to get the consent of at least 50% of the state governments. So only if they accept that, the implementation of GST is possible. Now certain states resisted passing of those bills, constitutional amendment bills. Now, what was their concern? They had a concern that if GST is implemented, their state may suffer the loss of revenue. Sir, how can you say that implementation of GST results in loss of revenue? Let us say there is an exporting state. In this class, at the beginning, we understood an illustration. We solved an illustration wherein the goods are supplied from the state of Andhra Pradesh to the state of Telangana. If that happens to be CST, pre-GST era, what used to happen is on 12,000, 2% CST, though it is levied by central government, it will be collected by the state of Andhra Pradesh, that is the exporting state, and it used to retain that money. If you examine here, what has happened is X supplied goods to A of Andhra Pradesh. Now A of Andhra Pradesh sold the goods to B of Telangana. What happened? The Andhra Pradesh government, the revenue to the Andhra Pradesh government is nil. When goods are exported from Andhra Pradesh to Telangana, what has happened is the SGST utilized for the payment of IGST, the Andhra Pradesh government transferred it to the central government. Now the revenue of Andhra Pradesh government is zero. So why would Andhra Pradesh government accept GST? Now this happens in the case of those manufacturing states like Gujarat, Maharashtra, wherein lot of manufacturing activity take place. When the good is manufactured, it will be transferred to states all over India. Then CST used to be collected at 2%. The 2% of CST, though it is a central government act, it was collected by the exporting state. Now in our example, the Gujarat or Maharashtra. So Gujarat and Maharashtra may have suffered losses. In our example, here it is Andhra Pradesh. So if Andhra Pradesh is a manufacturing state and wherein a lot of manufactured goods are exported to other states, the Andhra Pradesh government will suffer on revenue side because of implementation of GST. So Andhra Pradesh government will resist. So what central government has told is, okay Andhra Pradesh, If because of implementation of GST, if you get any loss of revenue, I will pay it to you. The central government wants to compensate those states whose revenue, for whom there are revenue losses because of implementation of GST. Central government will compensate them. Now, where will the central government get money? How does the central government get money? Central government get money only by way of collection of taxes. Of course, there may be other sources. It is not like that. But the main source for money is by way of levy and collection of taxes. So, to compensate the states on account of loss of revenue due to implementation of GST, this compensation cess is levied on luxury items as well as demerit items. GST is a tax on goods and services. So, GST in our country will be levied on goods and services except alcoholic liquor for human consumption, petroleum crude, diesel, petrol, ATF and natural gas. On these items, currently GST is not levied. Now, who will levy tax on alcoholic liquor for human consumption? This is a state subject. The state excise duty as well as the state CST or VAT. Let us say in Andhra Pradesh, alcoholic liquor for human consumption is manufactured. The central government will levy, the state government will levy excise duty. After it is, the central government has no role of collecting taxes or levying taxes on alcoholic liquor for human consumption. It solely vests with the state government, and also this is a major source of revenue for many states. So state excise duty will be levied, and also at the point of sale, this erstwhile VAT and CST which were applicable are also applicable in the GST era. So these item is not at all brought into the GST ambit or purview, and this levy and collection of tax, be it excise duty or sales tax, is vests with the state governments even now. Coming to petroleum, crude, diesel, petrol, ATF, that is aviation turbine fuel and natural gas, they are currently not under the GST purview or ambit, but one day, that is the day on which the GST Council recommends to the central government, from that day these items will be brought into the GST purview. What are those? Petroleum crude, diesel, petrol, ATF aviation turbine fuel and natural gas. Now till these items are brought into the GST ambit or purview, on them the central excise duty will be continue to be levied, and also CST or VAT. CST is central government subject collected by the exporting state. VAT is a state subject. Now, if it is sold interstate, it will be CST. If it is sold intrastate, it will be VAT of that respective state. Now, what about tobacco? Tobacco is in GST purview. GST is leviable on tobacco. Also, cess is also leviable on tobacco. And central government retained the power to levy central excise duty also on tobacco. So tobacco is a product which is subjected to the central excise as well as GST. Real estate sector was not brought into the purview of GST. So let us repeat these items. Alcohol for liquor, alcoholic liquor for human consumption is completely a state subject. Petroleum, crude, diesel, petrol, ATF, natural gas will be brought into GST from a date which will be recommended by the GST Council. Until then, they are outside the purview of the GST. But currently, what is their fate? They are subjected to central excise duty and CST and VAT. What about tobacco? Tobacco is in GST. but central government retained the power to levy excise duty also on tobacco. Is real estate sector brought into the GST purview? No, it is kept outside. Means sale or purchase of immovable property is not at all covered by GST. If it happens to be immovable property, a constructed, completed, that immovable property, be it land or building, where construction has been completed, if purchase or sale takes place in respect of land or completed structures, GST can't be levied. We already understood that a lot number of taxes were subsumed into the GST. Those taxes which were subsumed in GST contain or comprise both central taxes as well as state taxes. This pictorial representation gives us an idea of the central taxes and state taxes which were subsumed into GST. Now the central taxes which were subsumed into GST include central excise duty, additional excise duty, service tax, excise duty under Medical and Toilet Preparations Act, countervailing duties and special countervailing duties, central sales tax, central surcharge and cesses insofar as they relate to supply of goods and services. As far as state taxes which were subsumed into GST are concerned, they include state surcharge and cesses so far as they relate to supply of goods and service, entertainment tax except local bodies. So what you have to understand is, though the entertainment tax leviable by the state governments have been subsumed, the local authorities still have the power to levy the entertainment tax. Now, if what will happen if they levy the entertainment tax? If they levy entertainment tax, what will happen is it will again lead to cascading effect and duplicity or multiplicity of taxes. Taxing the same item twice or thrice is not at all feasible or recommended, but nonetheless the local bodies will have the authority to levy entertainment tax. Now tax on lottery betting and gambling, which is a state subject, has been subsumed. Entry tax, purchase tax has been subsumed. VAT or sales tax, luxury tax, taxes on advertisement, all these items have been subsumed into GST. Now moving forward, again we have a pictorial representation of these acts which have been subsumed. In the pre-GST era, there used to be central taxes and state taxes. There used to be number of administrations, be it a central excise or a service tax. There used to be centralized act and rules. Service, of course, there is no separate act but service tax, but the Finance Act was the source law for the service tax, and also there were different procedures for different levies. In state, at a state level also, there used to be multiplicity of taxes, multiplicity of administration, number of acts, number of rules, and the whole lot of procedures. But now all of these are subsumed into a single tax. There will be a single administration, that is common GST portal. There will be uniform law. However, there will be dual concurrent taxation, wherein you have simultaneous levy of CGST and SGST for intrastate sale, and for interstate sale IGST will be levied. For intrastate, CGST, SGST or UTGST. For interstate sale, it will be IGST, and all the procedures have been rationalized and brought into a single computerized portal. And the law, though each state will have its own GST law, but the crux or the overall view will be one and the same for all the states. Now we will repeat the exclusions. Alcohol for human consumption, the power of levy and collection of tax rests with the state governments. As far as petroleum, crude, petrol, diesel, aviation turbine fuel and natural gas, now GST will decide, GSTN will decide or GST Council will decide a date in the future from which date these will be brought into the GST ambit. Entertainment tax can be still be levied by the local bodies, and tobacco, as far as tobacco is concerned, it is brought into GST purview, but central government has also retained the power of levying excise duty on these tobacco products. The benefits of GST, which is our next topic, we will deal in our next class.